So next body area, as we close up around the hip and thigh, or this area is called the posterior gluteus medius. So different fibers in the glute, glute medius specifically, anterior fibers that are slightly forward here towards the front side of that lateral aspect of the hip, and then posterior fibers that are just behind. A lot of my runners typically, as they increase mileage, start to complain of this little ache or this little tightness in this area. So this is how we work on improving flexibility, moving those muscles throughout the range of motion if you're consistently going through this in the sagittal plane or forward motion, okay? So the exercise itself for the mobility drill is called the cross behind lunge. Looks fairly simple, but notice a lot of people really struggle to get into this position, especially if you have tightness, because it does target both sides to some degree, and this is a very problematic area for a lot of people. So I'm going to show you, again, facing this way, assisted first, just like I talked about in the lateral squat previously. If you want to hold on to something, so if I'm at home, I want to hold on to the sink, inside the door jamb, a table of some kind just to support myself, I can go into that position assisted, holding on to something just to help me really get a nice big step as I wrap that leg around and then lower down, okay? But here, obviously, because I'm at the gym, TRX is a very good tool to help get into that position. So just so you can see, especially from behind, you should be able to appreciate the position a lot better. I'm gonna line up my leg that I'm balancing on right with the anchor strap of the TRX. I'm gonna take a nice big step around, make sure my knee of the leg I'm balancing on is pointing straight ahead, and then I'm gonna sink down towards the ground. So I'm actually using those straps to assist me somewhat, to control my lowering down towards the ground. And it's actually this side right here. You can see as I get there, as I come around, we got that little bit of rotation or tilt throughout the pelvis. This side is what I feel a really big stretch on as I get down to the bottom. So I would do that on both sides just to check and see, depending on which one is tighter, and then come back up. You really need to make sure you take a big step. If you step too small, there's not much room and you can't get down low. So taking a nice long step and lowering is really ideal to get into that position the best. From there, once you have the movement down, you can get fairly low to the ground, just like the lateral squat once again, going to the unassisted version. So I would work on cross behind lunge here, no support, not holding on to a TRX or countertop or anything like that. And all I would do is big step around. Again, that's the first step to get into this slightly lengthened position, but it's that lowering aspect of the movement that then puts that posterior glute med throughout a greater stretch. I would do that on both sides. Again, just checking. Fairly tricky at some points here to get into this position if you're new to this exercise, but that is a very good exercise to help work on improving flexibility through that posterior glute med without adding in your typical crossover stretches and pigeons, some of those things that really target this area in a more active way.